Soften up the mess, drop it in the water, let the daughter find her image with the rest. She'll be learning how to breathe, spinning through identity, reveal another pretty.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back or welcome to Light on a Hill podcast, a Christian podcast where we talk everything faith, life, culture, where they intersect. I'm your host, Sanyu, and getting into today's video, I think I owe you guys an explanation. Made the Christian podcast, dropped 2 or 3 episodes, and dipped on all of you. So where have I been? What have I been up to? I haven't uploaded in about a year, slightly over or under, not too sure. But last time I uploaded was definitely last year, January. And so much has happened since then. First of all, I'm now in my 3rd year of med school. Whoa! Yes, Sanyu, go Sanyu. And I think I have learned so much about resilience and discipline from the journey so far. But I mean, I'm happy. I am pushing myself beyond limits I thought I could never push past. So that's amazing. I also discovered the beauty and the joy of girlhood and friendships in general. I think last year I spent so much time investing, pouring into friendships that were like friendships that I was also being poured into. I was also, being invested into. Like the friendship was being invested mutually and everything. I spent a lot of time in discipleship, basically, which like roughly discipleship is learning under someone. And I did my church Kingdom City offers this discipleship classes, and I did those. But I also got a chance to like learn from like other older people close to me, and it was just like mind blowing just seeing how much wisdom, like just aging, no offense, like aging brings, and like just being able to have access to those resources was definitely a huge blessing. On a lighter note, your girl now has locks. I have had my locks for over 7 months, I'd say. Slightly over, maybe slightly under. Yeah, I am now a lock girly. I never thought I'd make it this far in the journey simply because I love switching up my look. And also, I tie my hair to like my outfit so much. So, sticking to one hairstyle has been a challenge. I also did like a few styles over my locks. I did locks over my locks. Basically, just locks over my locks. Oh, I did braids over my locks as well. And it was like fun and cute and stuff, but I think I got so used to seeing myself with my locks only that I just disregarded the whole braids thing. But overall, I've been growing and flourishing. I'm gassing myself up and I'm gassing God up. I've been flourishing, growing with God, learning lessons, hard lessons, still thankful for all of them and all that. But getting into today's podcast episode, I have been wanting to tell my testimony on here for a long time. But honestly, I think I just had so many thoughts and emotions around it. And even just, I think dwelling on it for so long without like taking action made me have like negative thoughts towards it, which I really regret because everyone I have told my testimony on a personal level has been encouraged, has seen a different side of God and all that and all that. So, the Bible does say we overcome them by the word of our mouth. No, by the word of our testimony. By the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. There. That's the one I was looking for. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So oh my gosh, like my mind is so YouTube brain rot. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. So backstory, I'm 20, I'm turning 21. I have been a Christian my entire life, Christian quote unquote. Grew up in the church, the whole 9 yards. Grew up in the church, Sunday school, all that stuff. But I never really knew God. I never had a one-on-one relationship with Him. My mom would pray with us, we'd read the Bible and other stuff, but it was never really like a personal level type thing. And I think from a very young age, and this is like when there are a few people I've told and they just said they never shared the same sentiment. But from a very young age, I always had this gigantic gaping hole inside of me, like a desire for purpose, right? Like I'm talking 8 years old, knowing that something is missing. And I didn't know how to express that. I didn't know what was going on. And I didn't know I didn't know what that gaping hole was. And honestly, attention, like getting attention from people in whatever way it may be, whatever way, shape, or form, really felt like it was temporarily filling that hole. And because of that, I think also, like, side note, our generation has been exposed to so much at such a young age. That's why, like, someone's 20, 21, 22, 23, and they feel like they've experienced life because, in all honesty, they have. it's sad, but I mean, God can really like work all things for the good of those that love Him, and that was just a side note. But yeah, so I think I started finding my attention in how popular I am, who I hang out with, how quote unquote cool are they, and all that stuff, building my Instagram and all that funny stuff. And I'm not going to lie, it felt like the hole was being filled. But now that I look back at it, like, 5 years later, it was really a if you have a bucket with a tiny hole in it, right, and you fill the bucket up to the top, it will be filled for like a little bit, but to still leak, it will be constantly leaking. And I think that's the best way I can describe what I was feeling, like the high that attention would give me. That's the best way to describe it and everything. So, fast forward to like I'm age 15 and everything, I'm wilding out. Like, not, it wasn't anything crazy, but it wasn't anything good. Just, I feel like deception, lying, all that stuff, like just being sneaky and stuff like that. And my 16th birthday comes up, and 3 days later, I attend a party. 16 years old, I attend the party, and at this party, there's alcohol, this, that, and the third. And your girl was feeling grown and took so much alcohol. I actually, just like a transparency thing, I have not had alcohol since because, one, conviction, but two, physically, the smell, taste, proximity of alcohol makes me sick. I went to this party, had way more than a 16-year-old girl should have. Girl, 16-year-olds shouldn't even be drinking. But yeah, I blacked out, and all I remember was like coming to my senses right before I blacked out. I do not know how that works, but all I remember was, like, I think I was shouting for someone to like call my brother to come get me, and everything went black. I woke up the next day in my room, and when I woke up, I had no recollection of what happened until my feet hit the ground, because I had like, I was sleeping on a bunk bed, so I was on the top bunk. So my feet hit the ground, the floor, projectile vomiting. I kid you not, I had alcohol poisoning. I was puking for like 3 days straight, couldn't hold anything down. And, I'm talking like we have a family meeting, stuff like that, this, that, and the third. And I find out that not only did I black out, there were pictures, videos, memes, this, that, and the third. So it's like my one mistake was being circulated and plastered around, like, I won't say the entire city, but it was definitely making rounds and stuff. All of a sudden, um, it reaches my high school principal, stuff like that. Because this was, I think, towards the like decline of COVID. So this was late 2020. Okay, mid 2020. Was that really the decline? Okay, it was towards when the world was kind of opening up again a little bit. Not really though. But yeah. And I remember feeling like my life had fallen apart. Mind you, I was 16, freshly 16 at that. And I felt like my life was falling apart literally. Because I think when you have like this quote unquote popularity, you feel like everyone that talks to you is your friend. And, you know, people operate in the capacity that they actually have in your life, if that makes sense. Like if you're mutuals with someone on social media and you're going through something really hard, in as much as they can comfort you, they can only do that in their capacity, right? And I remember just feeling like I was having an early midlife crisis, and I was just like, I have no idea what to do. My parents weren't talking to me. Um, Friends, I just don't know. I think I had a few friends who still, were there, but when you're in that space, you can't even see like the people that are still there, still like standing by you and everything. You just feel like your entire world is like crashing down and everything. And I remember one day, my mom came back from work and I walked up to her and I was like, I'm sorry. And well within her rights, she was still very angry. Like she was still mad. And I broke down crying. I think I cried about that situation a lot, but that was the first time I really like felt helpless. And when I tell you, this was like my first encounter with God, and it wasn't anything like, um, you know, it wasn't anything like lights and I saw something, vision, stuff like that. It was just like, it felt like the entire atmosphere just shifted, and this like overwhelming sense of love came over the room, and my mom walked up to me and hugged me, and I'm pretty sure she's hugged me before, but that hug just felt like it had so much love, so much compassion, so much everything pouring out of it. Like that embrace, just it felt real, you know. It was one of those where someone's hugging you physically, but you feel it in like every part of you, whether it's mentally, whatever. That's how that hug felt. And then she tells me she's not the one I need to ask forgiveness from. And again, I grew up in the church, so I knew what she was hinting at, what she was insinuating. And I'll be honest, I was like, this God story again. But honestly, at that point, I was desperate. I literally felt like my life hit rock bottom. And I remember going back to my room that night and playing just any worship song that ever moved me, whether it was in church or whatever it may be. I just remember playing a worship song that really moved me, touched my heart and everything. And I remember praying to God saying, I have nothing and no one in this moment, and I'm willing to try a real relationship with you because it felt like he never left. Like, even in my quote unquote rebellion, okay, it was rebellion, he was there throughout. Like, he was such a constant. And I really just felt in that moment like God had really just been chilling by the door waiting for me to let him in. And I did this overwhelming sense of love, and like the feeling you get when someone hugs you, but imagine no one's hugging you. The emotional aspect or spiritual aspect, quote unquote, of a hug is what I felt. And ever since then, I think I know my life has never been the same. And it seemed a bit crazy to me that God really, he really meant it. Like, he really meant the whole dying on the cross for me thing. And I know that sounds funny, but when you really encounter God, you realize that he meant every part of it. Like the dying, the letting the soldiers like arrest him and all that, he meant all of it. And like, here I am living unashamed for Christ and loving every minute of life. I won't lie and say it's been an easy journey. It definitely hasn't been an easy journey, but it's been fulfilling. It's been everything I thought it would be and better. And even in the hard moments, I can find peace in knowing that yes, I'm going through the valley, but there's someone walking with me. Because God never promised us a life free of pain, but he promised to be there in the pain, in the storm, in the trials, in the this, that, and the third. And he truly has been there. Every moment I've stumbled, every moment I've felt my lowest, he's still been there. Like, God is such a constant. He's the only constant, in my opinion. And knowing him is literally the greatest gift. And for the free. Knowing him is for the free. And I just want to encourage you that if you feel like you have a God-sized hole, or, whether it's because of something that happened or it's always been like that, if you feel like there's something missing, like there's always been something missing from your life, God is there. He's ready to walk with you. He's ready to hold your hand through all these emotions and feelings and whatever it is. And there's a difference when you're going through something horrible and painful and all the bad things, knowing that at the end of the tunnel there is light, and knowing that that very light that's at the end of the tunnel is walking with you even as you go through the tunnel. And I really just hope someone was encouraged by my testimony, and I hope it encourages you to share your testimony. I am glad to be back. I feel like I'm in such a space where I can really just pour out everything God has poured into me, everything God has taught me and is teaching me. I really just want this place to be a safe space, a community where we can grow and learn and like go through this life thing with God. And I will be uploading once a week, every Tuesday or Thursday. And you can follow Light on a Hill Pod on Instagram for any updates and whatnot. But if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share it with someone you think it would bless. And that's all I got. I'm out. So stay you, stay real, and stay shining. Bye, guys.
Deliver like a dealer. Take her higher, higher.